Hey everybody, welcome to week 3. This is our overview video for the week, and I just wanted to let you know that this week it seems like we have a really long list of things going on. So I just wanted to acknowledge that you might be a little bit overwhelmed by our course schedule, because it just looks like a lot. If you look at it, you're like, whoa, that is so much. But I want you to know that really there are 9 categories of what you're going to be doing. So, and some categories have just one little thing in them, and some have a little bit more of a list. But there are 9 categories of things that we are going to be talking about, mostly about our personal narrative. So I just wanted to acknowledge that you might have to do a little bit more time management this week. Next week will be a little bit better, but I just wanted you to know that I know that it's kind of rough. So sorry about that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is there's some updates. I don't know if you've noticed that in our folders last week and this week, I have pulled in the discussion board rubric for serial and for mentor texts. Discussion boards really are important in an online class because the discussion takes the place of a class discussion. And this is where you are supposed to interact with each other. And I want to see some conversation. And I know that I went over that in a video before now about how important it is to be interacting with each other in the discussion boards, but I'm just wanting to reiterate that. So I just wanted you to just bring your attention to the rubric. If you haven't taken a look at it, go ahead and read over what I'm expecting. And then I also posted all of the mentor texts from last week. What white food meant to a first-generation kid, the physics of forbidden love, school days, and the good daughter. I've posted them all with my annotations on them. So you can check out my annotations. You can see if your annotations are similar to mine. You can see if I missed something that you thought was really cool. But I just put them there so you can look them over, and maybe that will give you a little bit of insight of how I was thinking, at least, and how maybe you were thinking as well. So I just wanted you to know that that's there too. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be doing in week 3 is we're going to just do a little quick warm-up, quick write. And what I want you to do for this quick write is think of a person that you know really well. Somebody you're familiar with, somebody that you love, or maybe you don't, but you know them pretty well, and you can picture their space, their house, maybe their office. You know what they're like because of the things that are around them. And this is not like this person has brown eyes. You're not doing that. What I'm going to have you do is just make a list. And so it's a list. That's it. You're not going to be really composing any story or poem or anything like that. It's just making a list of things. So making a list of the things that are around this person. So you sort of have to think in your head of this person's kitchen, possibly. What's in the kitchen? What's on the countertops? What's on their tables? In their fridge, right? You might want to think of this person's car. What's in their car? Maybe you want to see this person and what is on the floor around them. What's on their nightstand? What's in their pockets, right? So you're just going to be listing things, just things, okay? And you're going to leave the person's name off of it. So you're not going to title it like my grandmother or anything like that. because we then can go through all of your lists and we can guess. We can guess what person you were writing about. And it won't be a proper name, right? It won't be Sally Jones or whatever. It will be, I think this might be your grandmother or your aunt or your sister or your brother or something. So we're going to guess. And then on Wednesday, you can go back and post to your post and just let us know who you were writing about and give us a little explanation. And it's just kind of a fun little exercise. So if you want to do that now, you can stop this presentation and you can go and do that. Otherwise, you can do it after the presentation is done. But start there. Do a little warm up, okay? With no names. All right, so then the next thing you are going to be doing is a routine by now. This is week 3, so you already know what's up with this. You're going to listen to the next episode of Serial. It's episode 3, Leakin Park. And you can see Leakin Park is here. Oh, this is a drawing. But this is the actual, sign at Baltimore's Leakin Park. So anyway, so this episode you're going to listen to, there's a discussion board. Don't forget about that rubric thing, right? So that's what you're going to do. But I would like you to also think about how you would break this episode of Serial into acts. We talked about that last week. And we did a whole thing about that with the 3 little pigs. I'm sure you remember. And so I would like you to think about how would you break up this episode into acts, okay? And I've done it for you. It's on the next slide. So, you can cheat if you want, but I did it. But I would like you to notice, like in your transcript in your book, maybe you could label each act. And then you can think about how authors break their texts up into acts. Like, how does that work? So I want you to start looking at structure is what I want you to start doing of how acts are in. And here is the episodes. Notice there are 10 episodes. This is a great episode too, so you're going to love it. I can't wait to hear what you say about this one. All right. The next thing you're going to do is we're going to stay with this theme of breaking our story into acts, because you're going to do that with your personal narrative. Okay, so we did this with the 3 little pigs. And there's a little reminder here that we started with how the traditional story. And then we tried mixing it all up. And then now you're going to have that to do with your own personal narrative. So you're going to get out some index cards that might help you. Do some drawings, like just stick figures or whatever, of all the different things that happen in your story. And then you can mix it up. It can be a revision strategy for you. But I want to see all of your acts illustrated. You can also use pictures from the internet if you want to, but just make sure that you are giving credit where you are finding those pictures. Okay? All right. So this is going to be an assignment folder. So you're going to hand this into the assignment folder by Friday at noon. Okay? The next thing I want to tell you about is a revision strategy called satellite writing. Now, my friend Jan and I, we wrote the curriculum for this class together. And this was one of Jan's ideas, and it's just such a great idea. And the reason she called it satellite writing is because the Earth is sort of the Earth, right? And that would be your personal narrative, would be the Earth. And then satellites kind of go off of the Earth and explore, and then they come back down to the Earth, right? So, all of those satellites are specific, exploring specific things, an asteroid or a comet or whatever. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a scene or a part of your personal narrative, and you're going to magnify it off to the side in a satellite. And you're going to try all of the different strategies that we're going to be talking about this week. Because this week what we're doing is we are really looking at all of the components of a personal narrative. So each of the components of a personal narrative, you are going to be practicing with your own story in a satellite writing. Okay, so watch this video and check it out, and it will be a lot more clear once you listen to this, and then you'll be able to try it yourself. So that is the satellite writing thing. And then in our personal narrative folder, there are different types. So you can see that there's going to be a satellite write with description and dialogue and tense. And these are on 3 different folders on D2L. They look like they're in one folder here, but they're not, because they're at the tail end of each of these 3 strategies, because we are going to be talking about those 3 components of a personal narrative this week. So we'll start with description, and there's a nice presentation on description. So you can do that. And then you're going to be reading this essay called Father. And then you have a practice interviewing a place. And then you will have your satellite writing. And all of that is in the description folder on D2L in the personal narrative folder. Okay? So it's all very organized for you. All right? And then after that, we're gonna do dialogue, because dialogue is also a really important part of personal narratives. And you're going to look at this voice thread, and you're going to participate in the voice thread, doing comments where I'm asking you to do comments, so I know that you are getting the information of how to do dialogue. After the voice thread, there's a practice on D2L, and these are in your Writer's Notebook forum. So these are the private ones. And so you're going to do a little dialogue practice here, and then you have your satellite writing with dialogue. So what you're going to do is look in your personal narrative, you're going to make a little satellite, and you're going to work on one piece of dialogue to make it better in your personal narrative. Then we're going to take a little bit of a break from our different components, and you're going to be doing some mentor text discussion board, just like you did last week. You did school days with the physics of forbidden love, and then you did the white food one with good daughter. So you're going to do the same thing with this one. And then we're going to go back to the components, and we're going to do tense. So tense, I want you to know that I told you that Jan and I did this together, and you are going to watch Jan's video on tense. So you'll hear her voice on that. And once you're done with your satellite writing with tense, then you're done for the week. So don't forget to be looking at your feedback that I've given you for your brain dump. And draft 2 of your personal narrative will be due next week. And let me know if you have any questions. Have a great week 3.